Welcome to another DuckTales 2017 review. I'm John Barry, and today I'm reviewing DuckTales Season 2, Episode 9, The Outlaw Scrooge McDuck. So, the premise of the episode is that an old wretch, Scrooge and Goldie form a band of outlaws and stage a heist to save a small town from corrupt businessman John D. Rockduck. So this episode, I don't think I liked it as much as the previous episode, but it's still very much enjoyable. And I dislike some of the callbacks to previous episodes in this episode, though. There were some good ones, and they were kind of smaller callbacks, more in character callbacks than anything, though. We get to see Goldie again, we get to see Scrooge in the past again, which is always fun to see. But we also get to see a different version of, what's the character's name? The character's also Gizmo Duck. Fenton, I think is his name. I forget the exact name, but we get to see a different version of him. It's not him, but it's the character very much like him. And of course the writers, it was just fun how the writers handled that and made it so much fun. And then of course, Gyrogulus is also in this episode, and it's not an alternate version of him. It's a time traveling him. How fun is that? It's like, us characters realize that right off the bat, and the writers clearly intentionally did not have him give out his name to the Scrooge in the past, even though he probably exactly knew who he was talking to. But this might be a little spoilery to the end, but at the very end, he comes back to the present, because a little bit before we see him finally get a time machine working so he can go back to the present, and he appears in McDuck Manor in front of Scrooge and Louie, who I should say Scrooge is telling this story to Louie. I should have specified that earlier. And then goes screams, what year is it? And Scrooge has a moment of realization on his face, which is so perfect. It is quite perfect when you think about it. Initially I thought, Scrooge had known that, Sky had gone back to the past in the past, and that's how Scrooge knew what, the two characters who were not in the train were talking about. That was my initial guess, but then the ending changed that. But I still like that idea. I wish they had done that. But I did like the moment of realization when Scrooge realized who that time traveler who that mysterious time traveling inventor in the past was, but realizing it in the present. I just like that continuity. It's so perfect. If time travel ever was real, I doubt that would happen, but it's just excellent storytelling, and I greatly like that. Of course, also I should say that Scrooge was telling this story to Louie to teach Louie a lesson about, about the best way is not to be a swindler like John D. Rockahard or shady and sneaky like Goldie, but to be industrious and hardworking like himself. And Louie, of course, totally misses the point of it and decides he doesn't want to be a con man like kind of how he was set up earlier, like he wants to do something else. So he calls Goldie at the end of the episode asking to be taught how to be sneaky in that and earning his fortune. It's like, he totally missed the point of the entirety of the lesson that Scrooge was trying to teach him, and I just love that. It does make me wonder exactly where this will go in the end. because I have a feeling this is going to be a continuing plot thread that they're going to return to every few episodes, and I am really excited to see where this goes. And also, just the Old West setting is kind of nice to see, because while Westerns have kind of died down in popularity, so you could make the argument that new genres have taken their place, but let's not get into that, because that's out of the scope of this episode, or this review, I should say. It's kind of nice. I always like it to see the Old West setting pop up from time to time, especially when you translate the characters from the show in the present to that old setting. I just kind of like that. I also like how John D. Rockduck is clearly a play on John D. Rockefeller. Now, I don't know how corrupt Rockefeller actually was, but the fact that he made his fortune off of oil in the Gilded Age, where those the extremely wealthy, depending on where you saw, right, they're called captains of industry, so you clearly approved of them, all robber barons, where obviously they're going more the robber baron outlook on the character here. And for most of those very wealthy from the Gilded Age, you probably at both labels probably would work equally well for them. But clearly in this episode they focus more on the robber baron aspect of the historical figure they're obviously taking some inspiration from. But that's just my thoughts on the episode. What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. So thank you for watching this latest review of DuckTales 2017. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell if you want YouTube to notify you of when I release my latest content. Also, feel free to follow me on social media or support me on Patreon. Links are in the description. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one.